And that's me laying right over there. I was born in 1855 in the little town of Shiloh, Louisiana in Union Parish. 4 years later, my family moved down to Winnfield, Parish, Louisiana. And it was in Winnfield that I received my primary and secondary education. Shortly after my education there, we moved to Grant Parish, to Colfax, Louisiana. At which time my family sent me to New Orleans, where I attended and graduated from Shiloh Business College. If you know anything about New Orleans, Shiloh is still there. It's not a college anymore. It's the headquarters of the Louisiana State Bar Association. When I finished Shiloh, I came back to Natchitoches and Colfax, and I went into business with my father, Richard Bray Williams. He was a merchant. And sometime after that, I moved over here to Natchitoches. I opened other merchant stores, became president of the Exchange Bank and Trust Company, and began to acquire several thousand acres of land in both Natchitoches and Grant Parishes. It was at that time I met and married my first wife, Mary Edna Milling, from Winnfield, Louisiana. And we had 8 children, 5 of whom survived at the time of my death. Unfortunately, in 1898, during the pregnancy of our 8th child, Pearl, Mary Edna became extremely ill. We placed her on a boat here in Cane River, took her all the way down to New Orleans, Louisiana by boat, and placed her in the Hotel de Hospital. Unfortunately, she and our baby girl, Pearl, died in that hospital. Came back and I buried them both here in Natchitoches, and I sent my son, Randall, to Poughkeepsie, New York, where he entered business school. 2 years to the day that Mary Edna and Pearl died, I received a telegram that Randall was extremely ill with pneumonia, but before I could get from Natchitoches to Poughkeepsie, New York by train, I was informed that Randall had passed away. My last train ride was to bring my son Randall from Poughkeepsie, New York to Natchitoches Parish for his burial. Lisa?
And my name is Eliza Cornelia Payne. Here I am. Aren't I pretty? I was born January the 19th, 1871, in Evergreen Lodge, which is still on Williams Avenue today. My father was William Payne and my mother was Marie Alyssa Blanchard. I was the oldest of 6 children and one of the very first students to graduate from Louisiana State Normal School. I taught in towns all over Louisiana, including Campty, Barclay, and New Roads. My brother-in-law, Dr. Tom Harris, convinced me to return to Natchitoches, and I received a teaching position in the school at Welling for $40 a month. However, most of my money was spent buying supplies for my students. As part of my teaching duties, I was required to work with the Grant Parish School Board. During a visit to the school board, I came to the attention of one of its members, James Henry Williams. Shortly thereafter, I received the following letter.
August 20th, 1901. My dear Miss Eliza, you will no doubt be surprised to receive a letter from me, one who you know so little of. In fact, one whom you scarcely know at all. I am ready and willing to concede that I have known you only in a way for years without any special interest. And it was on Sunday the 11th that I had the opportunity of seeing you at the campgrounds, at which date I became deeply interested and favorably impressed. So much so that I have been unable to eradicate this opinion of you from my mind. I should have sought an interview on said date and occasion, but after mature deliberation, I did not think it prudent or wise to call on you on that eventful occasion, and hence subject you to comments and confusion that would naturally follow without first obtaining your cool and deliberate decision favorably. Which, and as I understand, you are familiar with me, my age, my family, my wealth, and so forth. And if upon this information that you already have or that you may obtain in the future, you see it proper to extend to me, James Henry Williams, the courtesy to call, you can name the date, the time, and the place, and I assure you that I shall appreciate the honor very much. Which, on the contrary, I shall take no offense if you should, in your judgment, deem it best that I should not call. I would appreciate your frank and open conviction in the matter, and should your reply be in the negative, I shall not mention the same ever again, and I would expect you to do the same. You will advise me as early a date as possible, and I shall be in much suspense until I hear from you. I hope to hear from you favorably. And then my grandfather says, please excuse the business paper. He wrote her a love letter with his picture in the letterhead. Yours sincerely, J.H. Williams.
Well, my response was prompt and to the point. Dear Mr. Williams, your favor was indeed a great surprise, and I appreciate it very much, the honor you wish to confer, but I must frankly assure you that it is useless for you to take any further interest in me. With respect, yours truly, Eliza Cornelia Payne.
Well, as you can see, I was in a dilemma. And when in a dilemma, I did what most red-blooded Louisiana businessmen would do. I bribed somebody. The person I bribed was Lisa's nephew, Payne Harrison. Payne drove the buggy that transported Lisa every morning from her boarding house to the school in Wheeling. And after the exchange several dollars, by some weird coincidence, I happened to be there at the buggy to drive Eliza to her school. That's the best bribe money I ever spent. For it was on November the 15th, 1902 that I sent the following letter to my future bride. My dear love, words are inadequate for me to express my happiness this morning. I feel like that I have won the victory. Oh, and it means so much to me. I don't see how I could have survived without doing so. Since I have your confidence and your love, I will forever strive to retain it. And not only retain it, but to show you by my deeds and by my actions that this confidence and love is certainly not misplaced. I shall strive to make you happy and meet your own as well as your family's confidence. Yours until death, Henry.
Despite the 16-year age difference and also the fact that we had religious differences, James Henry being Protestant and I a Catholic, we were married June the 30th, 1903. Prior to the wedding, James Henry had contacted the architectural firm in Tennessee that had designed the Natchitoches Courthouse. And on our honeymoon, here we are on a honeymoon, isn't that nice? We're at Balancing Rock. The workers constructed the home. Unfortunately, it was exactly 3 times the estimated price of $5,000 and wound up costing us $15,000. But isn't it beautiful? Rose Lawn, which was completed, and we named it Rose Lawn when we moved in because I planted the rose gardens there shortly thereafter, is still in existence today on Williams Avenue and one of the finest examples of Queen Anne architecture in Louisiana. It's built of virgin cypress. We had 4 children that survived childbirth, and in December of 1924, our youngest son, R.B., developed pneumonia. Then James Henry developed pneumonia, and his health rapidly deteriorated. On January 19, 1925, James Henry succumbed to pneumonia and heart failure. R.B. was too sick to attend his father's funeral, but did recover and was able to be at my bedside in the mid-1950s when I became ill and was taken to a hospital in New Orleans. When R.B. arrived at the hospital, I informed him that I would die soon. He assured me, "Oh no, Mama, you will not die soon." I asked him why he thought that, and he said, "Because it's already engraved on your tombstone that you died in Natchitoches Parish." So what was I do but to recover and spend more years, and I died at my home, Roselawn, on December 30th, 1959, as can be seen by my tombstone.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Very good.
Thank you.